Hello, this is Haiku here for my next video of my Modern Horizons 3 set review for Arena Pauper. Now going through the green cards. Again, reminder that we're going to be having a historic Pauper tournament after Arena gets Modern Horizons added, and then that will kick off our Vintage Pauper and Historic Pauper ladders. So check the description below for the Discord link to come play and enjoy a fun season with these powerful cards. And so, just as a preview, green, I think by far has gotten the best new kind of toys, constructed relevant cards in this set. So, green got a huge boost, which it really needed. It was probably the weakest historic Pauper card, historic Pauper color. And so, giving green all of these great cards is awesome. So starting off with a great card, Basking Brute Scale, 2 mana, 2/2 that has Adapt 1, and then it has the ability whenever one or more counters, you get to create an 0/1 colorless spawn token. Now there's an infinite combo in Paper with Sadistically, but unfortunately there's no way to go infinite on Arena yet. But of course, anytime you have whenever with no limit, it's just open for breaking. So I'm sure a card in the future is going to get printed and it will allow this card to go infinite. So combo card in the future, but this is just a very solid aggro card for the green decks. Green decks were pretty short on relevant 2 mana cards. And this one coming down at 2 mana, and then the next turn, if you don't have anything to do, adapting it is pretty solid. And then it gives you a random creature to kind of eat an edict or something like that. So solid card. Right now, I don't think it's going to see play. There's just so many other cards that are going to see play over it. But if it ever becomes has a combo card to go with it, then it's definitely going to be a very, very nice combo piece. Colossal Dreadmask. A call out to Colossal Dreadmaw. Unfortunately, this is just not playable in Historic Pauper, just too expensive. Even with there's equipment cost reducers, just doesn't get there. Eldrazi Repurposer. This is a great 3-drop. So the biggest 3-drop it has to compete with is Jewel Thief, which is an excellent card, which also got a lot better with green getting better with certain cards in the set. But you know, an 0/1 that adds colorless is potentially more relevant than Treasure. So the colorless, it doesn't work as well with. So the benefit of the Treasure token with Jewel Thief is basically once the Jewel Thief came into play, if they didn't respond with a removal spell on the Jewel Thief, you now had a treasure for the rest of the game until they force you to pop it that you can have cast Snakeskin Veil. Which is probably the strongest green card in Historic Pauper. Just blowing out a removal and then buffing up your creature and keep going to town is just great. So now this doesn't quite give you that ability, but giving you on cast, so that plays around counters a little bit, and on death, it's also kind of nice. So definitely a strong card. The other thing that you probably are going to end up doing or end up seeing is just playing both of these, Eldrazi Repurposer and Jewel Thief in the same deck with the 8 mana elves, potentially the 12 mana elves if you count Avacyn's Pilgrim, to ramp out and to have a very strong turn 2 play into beating down. So yeah, very, very strong green aggro card as promised. Okay, Evo Wit. All right, this card has me the most hyped of the set. First of all, just a very strong value engine card. Plays with itself. So if you kill any of them beforehand and leave them in the graveyard, then you can just bring them all back if you had enough mana eventually. So they can loop with themselves as long as they're not exiled. Then the combo potential, again, it has the text whenever. And so we do have the combo pieces on Arena to take advantage of this. And I've been working on building a deck, and the deck looks pretty strong, and it looks like it's going to be a player. I compare it a lot to Mogwarts. I've actually been playing Mogwarts a lot more to try to practice and see the lines where this deck might be better and might be worse than Mogwarts. And The big benefit this has over Mogwarts is all the combo pieces are creatures, so it doesn't die or doesn't get really blown out by Dispel. And it's easier to search for creatures. It's easier to find creatures than it is for instants and sorceries. I really like this card, and stay tuned. After it comes to Arena, you'll see me playing a bunch of decks involving this card. So basically, there's two different decks I see it. So there's the full-on combo version, and it's using actually a couple other cards from Modern Horizons to make it more assemble the combo faster and make it more efficient, basically at comboing. And then there's like a green-black version, I think, that's going to take advantage of the Wither and Bloom card. So basically you have Wither and Bloom, a very strong removal spell. You have this as a strong value card. So just like a green-black value deck. I don't know. So green-black value might be a thing because green is incidentally buffed because affinity is now so much better. And green, by far in Arena, has the best artifact hate, access to artifact hate. A green-black kind of controlling deck might actually be pretty good. And so I've been playing with both of those versions, and I've been enjoying both of them. They've seemed pretty strong when I've been goldfishing them and see how fast they can assemble a combo and how fast they can stabilize the game state. So very strong card. Love the value. Yeah. And then one other thing about this card, I've mentioned a lot of what makes it good. The last thing that makes it really super awesome is, like I said, Snakeskin Veil is probably one of the strongest cards in Historic Pauper, and this plays excellently with Snakeskin Veil. So it just the hits keep coming on how good this card is for Historic Pauper. Foul Strike, just not really a card for Constructed. It's a flexible card, but we have much better reinforced cards for cheaper, and we have much more flexible ways to cause plummets. Gift of the Viper. I was originally hyped about this card because I thought it gave Death Touch as well, or not Death Touch, it gave Trample as well, but it only gives a counter, reach, and Death Touch. So the untap part is nice. You can really blow out a race where you attacked in, the opponent thought it was free to attack, and then you untap your creature, eat one of theirs, and then now have a larger creature on the crackback at the next time. There are ways to give +1/+1 counters. Creatures with +1/+1 counters trample, and obviously trample with Death Touch works really well. So that kind of goes into play. And then Gift of the Viper sort of plays well with all the cards that care about +1/+1 counters. Yeah, so I think this is going to be a solid card. I think it's going to be like maybe in most aggro green decks, maybe they want one of them to try to like really scare an opponent. Then the opponent has to decide if the opponent's holding up one green mana, do I attack in and assume that they have Snakeskin Veil, or do they have Gift of the Viper? And so having one Gift of the Viper in your deck with 4 Snakeskin Veils can really tax an opponent on trying to guess which 1 mana green instant do you have in hand, and basically it's impossible for them to play around it, because this is a huge blowout if they don't, but if they don't attack you, they're going to lose the race eventually. So just kind of a solid complement to that card. Horrific Assault. This is going to be the premier removal spell in green if you're okay with sorcery speed. So there's a couple of Eldrazi, so the gain life is going to be relevant. But the big issue with this card is like I said, the sorcery speed. So right now, Ram Through is pretty good at 2 mana. It is a bite, and it can trample over if the creature has trample. So Ram Through ends up, I think, going to get the edge. But I think you probably want more than 4 removal spells in your green decks. And so I think this will take the spot of, depending on how many you want to play, copies 5 and 6 of your removal spells, and it helps you gain instant to life against red decks. So it's a nice player. Depending on the meta, if it's less important to have instant speed removal, which right now, because of all the combo and stuff going on, you do really want instant speed removal. But if the meta ever slows down enough, then this might actually get the nod over Ram Through. So slow down, I should say slow down as not the burn sense, but slow down as far as the combo sense. If combo is really held down by all the other decks, then this is going to be better against like red decks and stuff, obviously, because of the life gain and how many Eldrazi's fit into the green deck. And your Eldrazi tokens count toward this, so even if they remove your main Eldrazi, as long as you keep the token in play, you're good. Malevolent Rumble. So this was my kind of sleeper pick. I don't see a lot of people hyping this up. This is excellent card. So I've been playing a lot of self mill with playing out the Evo Wit, and then also with Slime Against Humanity that just came out. I was playing a lot of self mill there in Explorer Pauper. So this is an excellent card. It gives you the choice of the top 4, so it works well in combo. It also gives you a random creature as Edict fodder. Plus, that creature can help ramp you on your combo turn, which is all great. And then filling up your graveyard is very useful in a format where we have Treasure Cruise, where we have a bunch of cards that care about cards in graveyard. So a very solid addition to the green deck. I actually don't think the Evo Wit deck would be fast enough without this card. So I originally was super hyped about Evo Wit, and I was thinking that wasn't working, and then they leaked this card, and I was like, oh yeah, it's back on. Like this literally completes the deck. And the nice part is being a sorcery means it doesn't count as a creature type, so it doesn't mess with your creature searching cards as well. So overall, a great addition that really makes that Evo Wit combo deck run hum. All right, and then the last couple cards, just the ramp spell, a ramp creature. I don't think ramp creatures for 2 mana are really there. I think if you're gonna go for a 2 mana ramp creature, has to ramp you twice. And right now we have so little of those. Death Touch is kind of relevant. The fact that it's 2 toughness is kind of helpful, but I don't think that's where you want to be. Nyxborn Hydra, very solid bestow creature. I don't know if I like that it has +1/+1 counters on it rather than the creature. Like if it somehow gave it to both and they made the bestow cost maybe a little bit different, like maybe green XX, and then it got a +1/+1 counter, and the creature got a +1/+1 counter. So then for every X that you paid, you would have 2 counters on the bestow creature, but then afterwards you would have less. I think would have been a better card. As it stands right now, it's not quite good enough because green just really wants those counters to be placed on its own creatures rather than on the bestow enchantment. But just a solid, flexible card. It's never a great card for any mana cost, right? For 1 mana, it's horrible. For 2 mana, it's pretty bad. For 3 mana, it's all bad. In Bestow as well, you can get so much better value any other kind of bestow things, but the flexibility of the card really is where it shines. Temperamental Oozewag is a solid beater. I don't think that this is where you want to go, but it is a nice way to give your creatures with +1/+1 counters trample, and it also counts in other things too. So this might replace the shoot, I forgot the name. The one with kicker that gives +1/+1 counter or trample. This might still achieve that same height with its adapt 2, but then at the baseline it's a little bit better of a creature. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see which one ends up being playable between those two, or a combination of both. Maybe you want like 2 and 2 and just mix it up so you can fill in the curve a little bit better with all of these. All right, well, that was green. So now we're going to be moving into the extra powerful cards, multicolor, and we'll end out the thing. Again, join the Discord link down below in the description to be able to play Arena Pauper and come join us. See ya. Bye-bye.